Hey guys, Hunter here. In this episode, we're going to be going over the cable side lateral. Cable side laterals are a favorite exercise of mine to hit when I'm training shoulders towards the middle or the end of the workout, once you've really kind of exhausted the shoulder and you're just looking for a little extra stimulation and to really, finish out the pump and flush the muscle with blood. Couple things to keep in mind when you're doing this is you want to play around with the cable first and foremost, whether you do it in front of you or have the cable behind you. I personally prefer having the cable behind me because when you're doing this cable side lateral or dumbbell side laterals, the main part you're trying to train is your medial deltoid. So whenever you're doing that lateral, you want to keep your medial deltoid, if it makes sense to say facing up, you want to have your medial deltoid being the thing that's highest up. So a lot of people, when they do these in front, typically come across their body, and it ends up being more of a rear delt exercise than it is a medial delt exercise. So that's why I like to go behind my back with the cable. It's up to you to decide which one feels better, having it in front of you or behind you. I told you my preference already. Some things to keep in mind when performing this version of a side lateral or any version of a side lateral in general is you want to make sure that you're keeping a slight angle in your elbow. You never want to have your arm locked out. Whenever you have your arm locked out, you end up taking stress from the medial deltoid and putting it on the tricep. By having that slight bend in your arm at the elbow, you disengage the tricep and allow the maximum amount of tension to be placed onto the medial deltoid. Another thing you want to keep in mind is throughout the range of motion, you always want to have your elbow higher than your hand. What that's going to do is, again, put the maximum amount of focus on the medial deltoid and not get all the other shoulder muscles involved, such as your rotator cuffs and your rear delt and your front delt even. So what that's going to look like is this. So going behind my back, because this is the way I like to do them, and get that slight bend in your arm like this, and throughout the whole range of motion, even at the very top, notice how my elbow is higher than my hand. Some things that you can do with this exercise to vary where the most amount of resistance is you can actually, lean away from the cable, either by grabbing onto, like this, the frame if you don't have a handle, or on this cable we have a handle. So by leaning in, whenever I lean, I like to line my feet up with the cable pulley right here and coming right here, like that. So what that lean does is it changes the point of most resistance, because whenever you're doing any kind of cable exercise, the point of most resistance is whenever there's a 90-degree angle between the cable and your arm. So if you see right here, it's making a 90-degree angle. This is the point of most resistance when you're standing straight up and down. We come over here, we don't get that 90-degree angle until, like 6 inches higher, so towards the top of the contraction. So by varying the angle in which you're leaning, you can actually change the point of most resistance. So that's something to keep in mind when performing any cable exercise, but these in specific, you can really change the feel of the exercise by the amount of lean you have or none at all. So like I said, this is one of my favorite shoulder exercises to really finish off the delts. Give them a try in your next workout. Like I said, try the cable in front of you, try it in behind you, and just make sure you keep in mind to keep your hand below your elbow, keep a big chest throughout it, and really get that good contraction at the top.